Hiya, it's Becky, and I just wanted to make some real quick hoop earrings using these bunny charms and these 2mm fire polish check glass beads in a pastel rainbow colorway. They look like little Easter eggs to me, so I was going to make a little Easter bunny hoop. I'm going to be using 20 gauge craft wire. This is a titanium colorway because it goes really well with this antique silver of the bunny. I'm going to be using for each earring about, start from the top, 8 inches for each one. That is about 20 centimeters. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be forming a hoop, and you can use anything to form a hoop around as long as it's the diameter that you want. I'm going to be using this to form it around. I'm not using these beads in the thing at all. It's simply the thing that I'm using. You don't have to have specialized tools for things. If you wanted bigger hoops, you could use something like a film canister. You could use prescription bottles. You could use anything about that size. Cosmetic cases. I've got this one lip gloss tube that is the exact size for a ring that fits my ring finger, and sometimes I'll use that. Even though I have like 3 ring mandrels, sometimes I'll just use that to form a ring around. Anyway, I'm gonna start curving the wire that I've got just a little bit before I form it around. I'm just using my fingers to do this. And then I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it around the bottle. It's going to spring back, so it's not going to be the exact size as this. Whatever you form it around, it should be just a little bit smaller than you want your actual ring to be. Okay, and I'm going to need enough for wrapping on that end and definitely enough for a loop and a wrap on this end. So that is about where I want this ring to be. Get it back on there real quick. And yep, there. All right, so now that I've dropped that on the floor, I've marked where I want that bend to be. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that bend on my thing, and this is gonna be my ring. And now all I'm gonna do is put these beads on. I'm doing sort of a random order with these beads. Doesn't have to be like Roy G. Biv or anything like that. It's okay if there's a couple of them right next to each other because they're just little Easter eggs next to the bunny. And I'm working on trying to keep my hands in the shot, so I've got my tools on the side to warn me to stay center. I've got a little line down here to tell me don't go below that. But sometimes like I have a tendency to bring the work up closer to me so I can see it better. I'm working on just making sure that I'm keeping it in shot so you can see what I'm doing. Although this isn't anything revolutionary. Now these bunny charms and these beads I got from Soft Flex Company, and they didn't come with these jump rings on them. I added the jump ring before doing this because I want the bunny to face forward when I have my hoop on. I want my hoops to be facing forward instead of being off to the side. I could have left the jump ring off if I wanted my hoops to be along the side of my neck instead of facing forward from my face. All right, so now the next 10, I've got 10 on each side, by the way. And I already tested these to make sure that the 20 gauge wire would fit through them. There were a couple of them in this strand that I bought that 20 gauge wire did not fit through. And so I set those aside so that I wouldn't be, if I can even find the hole. Boy, that was more difficult than it needed to be on a Sunday morning. Anyway, this is just a real fun Eastery holiday kind of a thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Boop, boop, boop. All right, almost all on. And then we can get to the wire wrapping in order to make this hoop whole. Because right now it's just a little bit of a spiral, a skewiffy spiral, if you will. But still a spiral nonetheless. All right, so now that I have all of my guys on here, I'm gonna pinch this right here between my forefinger and my other finger. And then I'm gonna pull this wire around. Now, I can keep pinching here with my fingers while I wrap this around, or I can grasp both of the bent ends, both of these ends together in my pliers to keep it from closing while I'm wrapping. Because sometimes when you've got an open shape like this and you start wrapping, it will bring this wire in and it'll close the shape and make it smaller than you had intended it to be. All right, and that is not wrapping nicely because it's 20 gauge and it's a little bit harder to wrap sometimes. So I'm just gonna grab, move. Just gonna grab these and wrap a little bit better. Using some pliers. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Because the subtitle of this channel is Becky Forgets to Do Things. I forgot to go over my tools. So why don't I tell you about them while I'm doing this? These are my chain nose pliers that I'm using. These are some tweezer nose pliers that I just got recently, and they are super, super duper useful in wire working, and I'm really happy that I got them. All right, I got an end to snip off here. That's not going anywhere. These are flush cutters. These are some round nose pliers. I'm probably not going to be using them. I don't know why I brought them out, but just in case, that's usually why I bring them out. And these are 6-step bail making pliers, and I'll be using them to make my loop here at the top that I attach my ear wire to. All right, so I want my loop to be facing the same way, so it's like an 8. So I'm gonna bend this over there, and I think I'm gonna go for the second size up, not the smallest size for this, just because it is a fairly large hoop and I just want a little bit of balance. And I'm gonna bring this around, all the way around to the other side. All right, I'm just gonna grab this loop again so it doesn't close up while I'm wrapping. I'm gonna start wrapping this down around the previous wraps. Like, you could use a little bit less wire, but you won't have as much for wrapping. And for my own self, if I don't have a lot for wrapping, sometimes my wraps end up being a little bit messier than I'd intended them to look. All right, there we go. All the way down. And these tweezer nose pliers are great because they're narrower than the chain nose pliers, so they can fit into better spaces for tamping down these ends and for getting in there. Woohoo! All right, now I'm gonna attach my ear wire, and that is my first earring. I'll go ahead and do the second one off camera. Actually, I probably will do it in a sped up time-lapse version for my shorts, but there we go. Hoppy Easter! I hope everybody's having a really wonderful day. Bye!